Good evening, everyone.
Good
Hey
evening.
guys.
How are you
Evening.
today?
Good evening.
Yeah, today we are discussing a topics. I think it's a hot topics in Canadian economies. And I'm going to share one of the stories. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Today's topic is Canadian immigration's pullback my impact growth. Means that immigrations will impact on GDP of a nation, especially Canada. So in this group, we have opposing and in favor. In favor is group 4.
Group 4.
Yeah, we have Satwan,
Yes.
Martabek, and Srijan, and Sanjay. The opposing group is in group 3, Smaidul, Sumitra Gali, Oisi Islam, Sirat Tendap, and me, myself, Arman. As starter, group 4 as in favor of this policy can start the presentation now. After they present, we are going to oppose your views. We also have some presentations to highlight our views about the immigrations, opposing views. Each group has 7 minutes to present, and then we have to conduct a debate session after the rest of the time. Thank you. Time is your for group 4 to presentation.
Yes, our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in on October 24, 2024, he declared immigration pullback so that the economic condition of the nation become better. He cut down the permanent residents number from 5 lakh to 3 lakh 95,000 in 2025 and 5% in next year 2026 and 5% in 2027. After that, they will review about its and the permanent residents population number also decreases from 7.3% to 5%, and these will benefits in many ways to our country, like addressing housing affordability that is much the higher prices for taking the rent or buying the house, other infrastructure and social service readiness, like we have overcrowd on buses and in hospitals, etc. And we have it will impact our environment cleanliness also, and many other factors. Any other member have want to speak about it further?
Madat, you can continue with your slides.
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about the economic impacts of the immigration. It's more about the distinguishing between the GDP and GDP per capita, and while like the total GDP measures the size of the economy, GDP per capita it might be the better indicator of like the individual prosperity, like it's kind of slowing the the piece of immigration allows us to focus on increasing the productivity and the wages for the existing population, like the which can ensure that the sorry guys, sorry for the noise, which can like the which can like the allow us like to focus on to ensure that the economic benefits are like the goes like the correctly like the filled by all the Canadians rather than just expanding the size of the economy on paper. And apart from that, like it's more important to consider that the current economic growth has been heavily reliant on rapid population increases, and by slowing immigration, like it can be like it can invest in sectors like the innovation, education, and infrastructure to diversify the drivers of the growth of the economy as well. And yeah, these adjustments like the might ensure that the economy progress is like the sustainable in long term. Yep, the if you
Srijan, you
want
can
to
continue.
continue, Srijan, about the
Yeah, I'll continue with my argument. So I'll be talking about the pressure on public services. Uh, th- so as we can see, healthcare system is under pressure. More people means longer wait times and overburdened hospitals and clinics. In cities like Toronto and Vancouver, patient often wait months to see specialists, and system is struggling to keep up. A reduction in immigration would ease this pressure and allow the healthcare system to provide better care for everyone. My second point would be public transit system. So public transit systems are struggling with overcrowding. Cities like Toronto and Vancouver, as I have mentioned, and Montreal as well, uh, already have packed trains and buses during rush hour with more people arriving. The system can't keep up, leading to longer commute times and crowded conditions. Slowing immigration will allow for improvements in public transits infrastructures, making transportation more efficient and comfortable for everyone. In conclusion, um, reducing immigration will ease pressure on healthcare and public transit while giving the government to manage growth and more sustainable. Um, Slowing immigration allows us to better balance economic expansion with the capacity to provide essential services, ensuring long-term stability for all the people who are staying in Canada. That is all from my side. Sanjay, it's
Yeah, hi.
on you.
So, hello everyone. So, I'll be talking on the root cause why this immigration started. Let's all go to the year like 2020. Or before 2020, there was a scenario where a lot of international students came to Canada, and they just came here as a main aspect to study in Canada and fly back to their countries. Why was there a hike in immigration after 2020? This comes to highlight. So in 2020, after the COVID, we called a lot of laborers and immigrants from all over the world to Canada just because there was a labor shortage. Due to this labor shortage, we call people, skilled workers, and other people to just be a part of our country and to serve our country, as were facing a lot of problems in the infrastructure and hospitality and many more sectors in our life, such as environment and sustainability. We call the international workers to be a part of country and to work more better than Canadians. But here, this immigration was not played well. A lot of false immigration here comes into the picture. They started violating the immigration rules. They started bringing their spouse. They started create more and more families in Canada with by using all the illegal norms and also by flag polling. Immigration was only for the welfare of Canada, not to break the certain rules and not to violate the Canadian rules and regulations. Apart from this, we are here to preserve our social welfare and systems. Like every different country has their own social welfare program, and often it strains with a large number of immigrants to access this service, such as healthcare, housing, unemployment. As we talk about housing, uh, the you can see a lot of homeless people in the streets of Vancouver and in like in many streets of Montreal. Homelessness is not a choice. It's just happened to them because of a lot of immigrants entering in this country, uh, violating the rules of their jobs, violating the opportunities of other people. And I know homelessness is the first problem which Canada has to face now. So to remove all the immigrants and settling up with the native Canadians is our first option. To to give them their home back is our first choice. Immigrants were invited to the country to perform their best jobs, and because of immigrants there's a lot of growth in Canada. But now in 2024, the rise of immigrants is too much. In 2020 it was near about 80,000, and now it's about like more than a million. So from this, all the opportunities of the Canadians and native peoples, the opportunities has been seized in the profession of healthcare, housing, unemployment, as other of my colleagues spoke about. Preserving natural and cultural cohesion. A large and sudden scale immigration, which leads to clashes and also new arrivals, may have a different custom languages and social norms. Restricting immigration allows us for a more gradual managed cultural integration. And also about controlling population, unrestricted immigration can lead to rapid growth, putting pressure on housing, transportation, and public infrastructure, as my colleague Srijan spoke about. Secondly, prioritizing the domestic workforce development. By limiting immigration, government can focus on investing in educations for Canadian students and Canadian people, like training and development for the domestic workforces. The approach promotes self-reliance, innovation, and long-term economic growth rather than relying on foreign labor to fill up gaps. Talking about reducing the burden on education systems, a sudden influx of migrant children can strain public education systems, leading to overcrowded classrooms and shortage of resources. Canadian education is the second most best quality of education provided in the world. So we don't want to ruin this. Talking about protecting environmental and resources, population growth driven by immigration increases by demand for natural resources such as water, energy, and land. This can lead to environmental degradation, deforestation, and loss of biodiversity. That's it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Group 4. I think it's our turn to display our opposing views. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. For me, for us, reducing quota is not that simple because 75% of labor force growth in Canada come from immigrant like us.
Yeah.
And immigrations own 33% of small businesses that creating jobs and boosting local economies. So that's why the GDP or Canada prosperity is under threat when the immigration quota is reducing. The prosperity of Canada economy depends on immigration. So that's why our presentation will examine why the reducing quota will be detrimental to Canada future economies. And maybe Oishi can continue my slides.
Thank you, Vertano, for giving me the floor. Hello, everyone. So let's talk about the immigration drives economic growth, how it can be done and how it's done till now in Canada. So first of all, I want to talk about the main thing, which is like labor market shortages. As we already know that Canada has a huge need for labor market. Immigration is essential for addressing Canada's aging population in labor shortage, particularly in healthcare, construction, and technology. A pullback in immigration might affect or can exaggerate the gaps, slowing the economic productivity, obviously. Rather than I want to talk about the economic perspective, like the GDP growth dependency, like how it affects. A significant portion of Canada's GDP is fueled by the population growth through immigration. It's for obvious reason, as Canada has a huge number of immigrations, so a portion of their GDP comes through them. Also, slower immigration reduces consumer demand, business expansion, also overall income momentum. Obviously, the economic momentum would be highly affected because of the pulling back of the immigration. I believe that would be my part, but I want to talk about something a little bit declining in the birth rates. As you can research in Canada, some websites, you can see Canada's fertility rate is far below the replacement level. So that's a huge concern for them, and that's why they need so much hard workers or labor market, you can say. So immigration offsets this decline, ensuring the economy has enough workers to maintain their growth, obviously. Otherwise, it cannot be matched or maintained through only the Canadians or Canadian people. So yeah, this is the main reason I think for it would impact the Canada's economic growth, and I believe the rest will be like declared by my other classmates. Thank you, guys.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So I will be continuing the debate. So to support our point, the second reason is for because of the immigrants, there it will lead to a multiculturalism. So there will be, culture will have a diversity of culture. So because when there is diversity in the culture, there will be incoming of creativity, innovations, and then ideas, which will be very beneficial for the economy as a whole, and then specifically to the businesses. So when there are more of the ideas and creativity, the business can particularly can be taken to the international levels. And another thing is that because when there is multicultural people coming to one place, then more of international investment will be there for the economy of Canada. So yeah. And then another thing is that, yeah, another thing, for example, like it is in 1988 that Canadian government had made and enacted one multiculturalism act also to celebrate and protect the diversity brought by the immigrants. For example, there is a festival called Kanbana, which is held in Toronto as well as in Vancouver. When in Vancouver, they celebrate like Chinese New Year celebration. These celebrations will attract thousands of visitors and reflect the vibrant cultural contribution of the immigrants. So this basically brings the immigrants help connect Canada to the global market. So making the Canada more competitive in the global market and then attracting the more international investor. So thank you.
Okay, guys. Let me add some few additional points to the economic growth through immigration as well. So first of all, we can say that with more number of immigration, we have the increased number of innovation and entrepreneurship as well. So the first, uh, what I'm trying to say is that with immigrants settling here, we can have more business ideas. Immigrants can start their own businesses, and it can contribute to creating jobs and fostering innovation. This can also bring diversity in the perspective, as immigrants come from different culture. So with different culture, we are promoting diversity as well. We are promoting diversity and global connections. So with startup of businesses and with cultural diversity, this can enhance the creativity within the country. So this can enhance creativity, tourism, and even international trades as well. Moreover, with increasing number of immigrants, demand for goods and services, the demand for goods and services, which in turn will develop the economic activity. So, with more consumption support coming from the immigrations, businesses will be it will support the businesses that already exist in the country and help to maintain the economic growth of the country as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharad. So I'm continuing some points about labor market and skills. And after COVID, Canada is facing labor shortage, and it was a huge impact of their economy. And over 60% immigrants of Canada in recent years, and they selected by the immigrants. On the other hand, there are some labor shortage. According to the data of 2023, 60% of employees complain that they don't have any skilled worker. That's why the government introduced express entry, and by this program, government make up the labor shortage of the country. And another point is in technological sector is was facing labor shortage, and it was about 40%, and they don't find and didn't find any skilled worker, and it was made up by immigrants. And in Canada is a huge country, that's why some rural areas are vacant, and that's why government introduces provincial nominee program, and it felt a huge impact in their economy, and many people are shifted from one province to another province, and then they shifted in rural area also. And in provincial nominee program, 80,000 individuals, and they are becoming the part of the economy of Canada. That's my point, and my group member will continue the rest.
Okay, thank you. Group 3. Okay, we have shows our opposing views. Now it's the time to debate sessions. Anyone want to spark the debates?
Yes, in my view, carbon immigration is very essential part for the growth of Canada, so that it can grow more effectively, because rent of houses and their prices are much higher, and same with the overcrowdedness in hospitals and public transport, and less number of jobs that we all faces now, new students faces, and also the native of this country faced. So carbon immigration is an essential part for the economic growth.
So
Why do
group,
why does our like opposition team thinks that, like, immigrants should be here, immigrants should be allowed more and more? Okay, so this
yeah,
is the main part of the debate, right?
right.
Yeah, so it's your turn now.
Yeah, I was asking about your view. Is there any better solution about the if besides the reducing immigration quota, since immigration in Canada is crucial here? You cannot just simply reducing into half because it will impact on the GDP on consumptions as a aggregate demand and aggregate supply. So do you have any better idea?
Yes, but
So,
Canada has many natural resources to increase their economic growth. It depends mostly on the immigration, but it's not the only source of it. It has also many sources to increase its economic growth.
Okay, so I'm adding that to your point. Like, if that's so, like, if they have so many resources or something, probably they don't even like propose this idea to have immigrants in their country, first of all. Okay, so on Sanjay's point that why immigrants should be here in Canada, right? First of all, we all are immigrants here. Okay,
Yes,
we
yes.
want to talk about ourselves. So now let's talk about we cannot erase the whole point of view of immigration. Rather than that, we can say we can like choose quality over quantity. Okay, quality over quantity in terms of immigration. A more selective immigration strategy focusing on high skilled individuals could deliver a greater scale to the economic growth. That can be a better solution, but you cannot just erase the whole immigrants altogether, because if that's so, I don't know what will be the growth, but the Canada like economic growth would be highly impacted, and it's so visible because they're one of the, at least you can say their 30 to 40% GDP is mostly depending on the immigrants.
Immigrants. Yeah.
Okay, so you cannot just erase it wholly and you can say okay, now I am like wholly closing on that, so you
Hmm?
cannot. Okay, hope so you got your point.
Can
No,
yeah,
can
so
The
we
debate
Arman and
is
Qureshi,
not
I just
about.
wanted
Yeah,
to
sorry,
talk.
Sanjay, you can go.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
Arman and Qureshi.
So,
So I just wanted to talk about this point.
Yeah,
Talking about Arman's point that the GDP will go down.
yeah.
See, so
Mm.
as Canada till 2020, we started calling more and more immigrants. It's just because we were facing a shortage of labor, skilled
Mm.
labor. Okay, by the year 2024, the bar of skilled labor just bounced into the bar of unskilled labor, and they started to doing all that unsocial means and all the means to get into Canada. Okay, so talking towards Arman's point and Arman's view. So it won't bother us if we stop calling immigrants, because if Trudeau is giving like $250 off on grocery, the GDP is already been stabilized. And Mark Miller, the immigration prime minister, who says that immigration should be stopped. It's already been the taxation has already been well controlled in Canada. That our economy is also balanced till like for the next 2 to 3 decades. Okay, and if then we find further shortages in the immigration or in the skilled worker, then we would be thinking to call the immigrants back. Okay, here comes the topic of economy, which is well balanced by the Canadians within this 2 decades now. Talking about the talking about the 40% of the economy is managed by the immigrants. I totally agree with this. As Sumitra told that Sumitra or any of the guys told that all the Chinese festivals were being
Yeah.
introduced in Canada to call like multinational countries. Yes, it was a time, but right now, due to the homelessness and due to seeing hospitalities like frustrated situation, if you go to the hospital, you have to, if you have a heart attack, you'll be just sitting in the casualty for 2 days. Your body even does not have a mortuary to be stored, right? This is just because of the immigrants and lot of stuff we Canadians do not have our own, own jobs, own houses, and own source of incomes. Everything is being captured by the immigrants, and we as a country are losing our identity. So talking about the economy, it's already being balanced. Talking about the taxation, talking about the natural resources, we have it for the next 10 decades, so we do not rely on immigrants anymore.
one more point, like the about the your point that the selecting the quality over the quantity. That means the structurizing the immigration process, and that means like the reduction in the immigration process. We are not talking about just like the stopping immigration. We are talking about the reducing, like the choosing the high quality, like the necessary. That point means the reducing, like the
Oishi,
selecting the
you just agreed
quality
with that
or
one, right?
the quantity.
Yeah,
The and the
I
and
have
the
said that point.
and the second point, like if when we are talking about the GDP, as I mentioned, GDP cannot like the show like GDP like can show us the whole size of the economy. We need to look at the GDP per capita. And by reducing the immigration, we can like we can increase GDP per capita, which means like which can give us like the more productivity, more like the more like the affordability to like to purchase like the necessary goods for the existing like the population. That's why we need to focus on more like the GDP per capita, not GDP like the as a whole size. Yeah, GDP. It shows like the whole size of the economy, not like the populations, like the lifestyle or life uh, affordability. Yeah.
Srijan, continue, bro.
No, Sanjay, you have Sanjay and Madat, you guys have proved my point. Actually, what Oishi was saying about we cannot erase the half of the immigrant from the country. We're not talking about erasing anyone. We are talking about reducing the rate of immigrants entering from the like from other countries. That's what we are talking about. We cannot erase them because they're already a citizenship. Half of them, they're already citizenship over there. Like they have already been living here for like more than a decade now. So Satwan's point was also clear that the immigrants over here, um, we are not talking about them. We are talking about the people who are coming from outside and controlling them not to enter like that in that way. Sanjay has cleared my point as well. Yeah, that is all from our side.
I also want to add here my in-person experience. When last month in October, my nephew got a swallowing in his thumb by playing a soccer. And we take it to the hospital, government hospital. There we have to wait for 2 to 3 hours for and in emergency we have to wait for 2 hours to get our appointment with doctor. So this is the condition of hospitals and and public transport. You all see every day overcrowded. So we not asking for diminishing the whole immigration, but we have to reduce it to make a condition of this country better and increase the chances of jobs so that we can get our house rents and other expenditures.
Yes, in fact, we have a housing problem, hospital problems because of, let's say, just because of a massive
Immigration.
capacity. Yeah, but as we consider that, let's just say that hospital and transportation is aggregate supply and the population is causing aggregate demand. Maybe we, instead of reducing the quota, we can start preparing the aggregate supply, make more hospital, make more affordable housings. I think that will be the better solutions. If
So for this, we
this,
have to call more immigrations. immigrants. So right now we have started keeping a cap on that. First we have to balance, then we have to sort out, then within a decade or two we'll think about it.
No decade over Tiff McLean, governor of Bank of Canada, he said it's till 2027, not for decade, just for 3 years
Yeah, ticket is
reduction
too
Trust
process.
me,
long
like,
way.
though we shouldn't tell this, like, after the election, probably the scenario will be changed and everything will be changed in a row, because it's tough. In a some way, we all are just debating on this fact, but it's really tough for Canada to stop the immigration or to reduce the immigration like at a time, because it's not that much easier to like reduce it in a point, like when they are already subject that much immigrants already in their country. It is not that much easier to do all this stuffs altogether, but yeah, things would be great like afterwards, I believe. So yeah.
I
See,
have a
I'll be
point.
giving one more
I have a
Yeah.
example.
point.
So sorry,
Okay,
Medul, you can talk. After you, I'll be proceeding.
okay, thank you. I have a point. Actually, Canada already announced the cap for international students from 2025. And according to the data, in every year, Canada income $2 billion from the students and $15 billion from the housing cost from the international students. It's a huge income for their economy. And from the 2025, they are losing this amount of money, and many university and many colleges already they are facing some problems, and they also complain to the government. And in our university, from the next year, spring 2025, ECW didn't offer any MBA program,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
they are losing huge amount of money. And they already made the infrastructure, and they invested huge. Uh, they providing many services, and they elected many professor, and they are losing huge amount of money, and this will impact for the total economy of Canada.
Okay, nice point, Medul. So I have to give an example of two countries, like let's say US and Canada. So in USA, the population of Indians is 1%, and the 1% population, they are highly educated. You can see top-notch lawyers, doctors, financial advisors, CEOs, and a lot of entrepreneurs. This 1% of people pay up to 6% of the total taxes in the USA. It has been said by the immigration minister of USA. So as USA, it's very difficult to get a green card and the citizenship. Why did they do so? Okay, here comes one question. And the other question is, why is it so hard to get land in USA? It's just because USA is also already going for, and it's always going for quality rather than quantity. And being at the top, being dollar is the most like symbol of sovereignty and the symbol of symbol of every currency. The conversion always occurs in dollars. So it's just because it's very hard to get the citizenship in US, because they are always like keeping mind about the quality, not about the quantity. And talking about Canada, Canada has faced a lot of problems while while during COVID and after COVID. The main reason how immigration rose was to call the skilled workers. Okay, but now each and like a lot of malpractices has been occurring. So each student, you can say, he or she comes to Canada just to get a green card. Okay, the reason we are giving student visas is just because a student can get educate, and he can either move to his back home or he can migrate to other country. It was never told in any assemblum or any paper that a student can come here, study here, and settle here. Okay, And talking about Medul, a lot of students have been investing in Canadian education, and a lot of people, Canada would lose a lot of money. We just invited students to get the ambience of Canadian education, to learn from Canada's education and etiquettes, to go back to their country or to migrate to any other country. It was never said that you are supposed to be in this country after your studies. So here comes the conclusion. In US also, if you study, it is very hard to get the citizenship or the stay back. It's all, even the H1 visa has been, discontinued after some time, and there are new supporting systems and supporting visas for the skilled workers who can just work and go back to their country. It was never written in, even in the assembly.
One more point, Maidul. As I mentioned, you're talking about the whole economy. Like by giving those numbers, you are summarizing the whole economy, not the like the population's lifestyle or life property. In order to see like the how like the populations are living, we need to pay attention more the inflation and the price stability. By reducing like that's the point like that Macklem, like the governor of the bank, the suggesting like the reducing immigration, like the can affect like the customer prices, like it can minimize them. And this can underscore like the fact that the policy like that policy is about like the restabilizing the demand and supply. And it's kinda in the labor market, it's kinda in housing, and it can like it can improve the customers, like the people's like the affordability. That's the main point. The You are talking about the whole general economy, but if it's not affecting like the people's lifestyle and the people's like the affordability, it's just the numbers on the paper. That's it.
Okay, guys, it's already 15 minutes of debate. Maybe one of you want to sum up?
From my point of view, like we 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 should like we should structurize the immigration process, and we should like we should go with the point like the which Oishi highlighted, the quality the under the quantity. I mean the over the quantity. That's my point.
Okay.
Thank you.
We also agree that we may have different views about immigration, but we agree in one thing: immigration must based on quality over quantity. I think that's our end of discussions.
Conclusion
Yeah,
point.
Thank you
conclusion
for
point.
your attendance and participation. Have a great night.
Yep. Thank
Okay,
you
Yeah.
good
for
night,
having me here
everyone.
as
Thank
well.
Just
you,
before
everyone.
Thank
you
you,
leave the
guys.
meeting, I just wanted to talk, like speak one point. Like,
Sure,
is the
sure.
meeting recorded? Like, let's stop the recording now.
I'm stopping now.
Yeah.